Hello everyone. Welcome. Hope everyone's having a good one. Oh geez. Okay, so how much did actually happen this week in Star Citizen? I don't think too much. In terms of like external news. No, 421, yeah, 421 and the Second Life resource drive is, that's a thing. I'm just gonna check. Okay, my mic is working. Stream Elements shows 3 audio channels with the default layout and font size and widget size and all that, and I have 4 inputs. Desktop, Discord game, and mic is hidden. Anyways, yeah, I'm trying to think. There's not too much go over. I don't know, there's, I was playing, I was doing some stuff in Pyro, and I don't know. I was also trying to do some trading, and I think at the end of the day, like, do I have a two-handed tractor beam? I don't think I do. I can get one, but I don't think I do. Ugh. Does it recognize that my Ursa is... I need to just get one. My goofy ass is... What? It's right there! My god. Okay, hang on. I also need to turn the shields off, but oh my god, I'm sorry. Wow, okay. For one thing, there's a part of me... Okay, there's 2 parts of me that's like, oh, you know... Like, I want to do, like, just real low editing, real simple and easy, just, hey, I go and record 30 minutes of things and then just upload 30 minutes of things because I'm lazy and just don't want to put that much time into things. And also another part of me that's like, I should just cut all of this and restart. This isn't where I need to go. But, that's an entirely different conversation, though. We're here to talk about Star Citizen and only Star Citizen. But yeah, so I went to Pyro, I did some stuff, and I, like... What's there to say? Because, like... I don't know, I initially thought Pyro was going to be, you know, when 4.0 first came out, I was thinking that Pyro was going to be just PvP Gangfest. And, that ain't true. Like, you know, if you go to a contested zone that is, like, explicitly a PvP thing, and you run into PvP, like, what are you expecting? There are some contested zones. There are contested zones that are at the hangars. There are also some other contested zones in the middle of space. And, not everybody necessarily knows that they're not as well known. And those ones are more there if you want to do executive hangar stuff. But yeah. Let's see. Trying to think. I did the asteroid bases. The asteroid bases were fun. Some of them were kind of painful because lighting, and like really, it's just lighting. Like what the fuck? Like there's so many things that are just way too dark. for their own good, and it's just like, this isn't fun. Who went into this and said, yeah, this is fun, this is good? And oh yeah, okay, so specifically I was doing the bit zero mission where there's a fee to get the mission. You go in and okay, how is this gonna look? Cool. So you go in and you have to take out you have to steal a ship full of cargo, and you have to offload it. And you might say, hey, well, can't you just fly it out of the hangar? Yes, you can. And to varying levels of success, because I took that, it was a freelancer, and I abandoned my own ship. And I abandoned my own ship and took the freelancer to a thing. As soon as I landed, I didn't even get out of the seat, and it just disappeared. So, like, I don't know if that's indicative of the of what happens every single time, but that was kind of frustrating. Especially because I don't think I got a little bit of loot from it. And also, like, in Pyro, in general, like, there's a slightly larger variety of enemies that have, slightly more, varied loadouts. And, like, that's awesome! And that's fun! Oh, and also, this week, this Thursday, July 3rd, July 3rd is a Star Citizen Live where they're going to be talking about the looting and, like, item gathering. And I'm super curious how all that's gonna go. I don't know if I've talked about the bone dust, about the prism shotgun. I like the prism shotgun. I think its alt fire mode is... I don't like the alt fire mode. I feel like it's kind of a hindrance more than anything. But as a semi-auto shotgun, which I think it is supposed to be fully automatic, but it's semi-auto, it leaves a little bit to be desired. And I'm not gonna use it because I don't have that much ammo for it. So I think we'll just stick with good old classic P4AR. I do like it, though. It's, like, just because there's one thing I don't like about it doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, like, every weapon should, be like, it's close to perfect. Probably. Anyway. Third, we do have attachments. And we'll just leave those on there. Let's see. Yeah, so that bit zero mission was, and that, like, it was kind of fun, because, like, the hangar has, like, a bunch of structures and obstacles, and it's a whole FPS map, and that's fun. But, like, when, you run into issues where the game freezes, like, for a literal, like, maybe half a second to a second, and then just, like, when it gets back out of that stutter, like it just did, although that was, like, that was a very, very short stutter, maybe not very, very, anyway, you're, like, the enemies has, completely moved from where you are. You have to, like, you've taken, 2/3 damage, like, it's a whole thing. I mean, yeah, that isn't fun. And, honestly, like, I don't know, my experience, and it is only my experience, and it is not everybody's experience, but my experience is that, like, I'm kind of worried that, like, 4.0 was actually very stable, and then we have been getting a bit more stable as the patches have gone on into the year, but it hasn't been perfect, and now I am a little bit worried that we are going to start deteriorating, and it's just going to take a while for people to really fully appreciate that. That maybe that's just a bit more pessimistic than anything. I know one of my friends is like, I hate clouds and cannot believe we cannot turn off the clouds. And I mean, that's like, you know, there's an element to that where it's like, it's an optimization thing that they just haven't, you know, done yet, because, like, we're not at the stage where optimizations are a thing we're doing. That's fine. That's understandable. It's annoying and it's a pain in the ass, but at the end of the day, it is kind of understandable. I will say that these missions are too much for me. These ones are fine for me, so I will be doing this. Honestly, I like the 890 missions more, though. Like, the 890 missions... Well, I don't know. I was gonna say, oh, they're not perfect. I mean, like, I guess they're not perfect, but they're pretty damn good. Oh, and contract stuff not working. That's always fun. What was I gonna say? Oh, okay, so there's the Second Life drive, and there's the Wikelo changes. And also, I did see on Reddit, because I go through the Star Citizen subreddit just to see what some people are thinking. Obviously, it's not everybody. I did see somebody saying, hey, I wish ISCs were more... I miss ISCs. The new stuff they're doing aren't really the same, and I just want to... in whatever little part I can do, really... The ISCs of old were goated. With the sauce. And, these ones are really just either advertisements for ships with behind the ships, because it's really in front of the ships. And, it's, and everything else is usually, I mean, maybe there's an exception here or there, but for the most part, it's just, we're just talking about, not seeing anything yet. I'm gonna do a deeper scan. Thingamabob. Also, you know what, I'm gonna apologize. I should have looked it up. I should have the QR scanner thing, because this is just raw gameplay, and if there is a bug, I really should just go and report it, and that is a thing I need to do. If I'm gonna complain about Star Citizen bugginess, I should put my money where my mouth is and actually try and contribute to the issue council. That's... yeah, anyway, that is definitely a thing. But, oh, also, I will say that, well, yeah, so my hopes and dreams for ships, are kind of dashed a little bit. Because, and I shouldn't say anything, but I'm gonna tell you now, I'm just feeling it. Why did it transition to another ship? That's fucking stupid. I changed the cannons out to repeaters because my biggest problem with the Starlancer is that I can lead targets, but I can't lead them a huge amount. And these things, while don't have the oomph I really, really, really want, I can actually get hits on small ships with this, which is definitely a thing. My ships are a little, my ships for, my wish for grinding out ships, my hopes and dreams, as it were, a little bit dashed, with all the Wikelo changes, because I like the idea of where they're going, where, you know, what we had before was RNG, and it would be like 10 Wikelo favors, and, you know, it depends, but, you know, it might have been like 10 Wikelo favors, Ace Combat helmets, or whatever, or, and wasn't there 3 ships? I guess one flew into an asteroid. Did I say I was gonna fly into an asteroid? I guess I was close. It wasn't me, but somebody did in fact fly into an asteroid. But like, I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. So it would have been RNG, you would have had Wikelo favors and Ace Interceptor helmets. Now it would be, it's not RNG, you get you want a Guardian, you get the Guardian contract. I think the Guardian specifically isn't in the 421 PTU, but that's beside the point. And that's a whole nother thing. But you would get Wikelo favors, Interceptor helmets, and something else. And sometimes, like, I'm not 100% sure because they don't engage with the content, but like, it's either Hathor resources, or Stormbreaker resources, and it's just like, I don't fucking care about doing that gameplay, and it just makes me not want to. I still don't care about Wikelo. And like, and don't get me wrong, like, the Stormbreaker, like, having to get Valakar pearls is fine, and we can argue about how much is the right amount, right? Like, that's, you know, I mean, there's some argument to be made there, but like, the thing, okay, like the pulse, I haven't run the numbers, but like, the pulse needs, you know, 20, or I'm sorry, it needs 2 Wikelo favors, right? Oh jeez, I'm a dumbass.
Keep the fighters off me so I can work. Quick, take that shit before it's too late.
I wish they would shut the fuck up.
All channels, I'm under attack.
Oh,
Please, if you hear this, help me.
what is happening? Oh wow, okay. Well, that did something apparently. Sorry, now I've completely lost my... Oh yeah, so like, there's an argument to be made, that like... I mean, yeah, definitely, like, the Polaris is a capital ship, it's a group ship. You should... If you're gonna be running a Polaris, if you want to earn a Polaris, you should have a large group. It should be, you know, the requirements to get the Polaris should be, you know, for the kind of group that would run a Polaris, right? That's, like, a little bit of the problem in my mind, that, like, oh, the resources you need are the current new hotness. And that's, it's like, you know, that's fine to some degree. I really wish they would shut the fuck up. Like, I genuinely, like, oh my god. Isn't it so fitting that, like, when CIG adds voice lines, and, like, everybody's like, oh my god, voice lines, we get, like, some actual, like, we can do these things for narrative purposes, and then, like, somehow there's a way to fuck it up where just everybody's saying all the lines in the middle of combat, and it's just like, shut the fuck up. Oh my god. But yeah. Oh, oh, and the map sometimes it just fucks up so hard. Jesus Christ. I think the Zeus Mark II Clipper needs 50 Valakar Pearls, which I think is a minimum of 3 runs of Stormbreaker, and that seems like utter bullshit. Oh, sorry, the specific thing I was gonna say is that, yeah, that is bullshit. The pulse and a few other things are like 2 Wikelo favors. And you can buy those in-game. So if you went and bought those in-game, oh my god, you would totally have no it. So again, 2 Wikelo favors, for the mission I'm doing right now, I would have to do 7. I would have to do 7 of these missions in order to get 1 Wikelo favor, because 8 times 7 is 56, 8 times 6 is 48, but, so what, I would need to do 13 or 14, of these missions to get 2 Wikelo favors, and that would get me 7, that would get me over 700k. Like, what, even $1 million? Yeah, I'm gonna be able to afford a fucking... I'm easily going to be able to afford a fucking pulse with even fewer missions, right? And, there's it's a unique skin. Okay, a unique skin does not magnify the value of a pulse by a factor of 10. That's not how that works. Oh, there's components. Not on a pulse. And on some of the ships, I'd have to check, but I think the Zeus specifically, from the information I have, which is not direct first-hand account, but I think they're grade A components, but all civilian, industrial, maybe competition for some ships. They're all stuff that you can buy in game, that you can just buy in a in-game store. Yes, there are some ships that have military components, and it's the only way you can get them, but maybe not necessarily the only way you can get them, but yeah, it's a whole thing. And of course, the ICTY, part of the deal is the NN13s, that you have to go to the contested zones, which is locking it behind PvP. And I don't know, I guess, what if nobody shows up to a contested zone? Well, okay, then it's not PvP or PvE. I guess technically it is PvE. There are enemies that spawn there, I believe. But you know what I mean. And I think at the core of it, that we need that for everything in game, there should be 2 or 3 ways to get it, to obtain it. And I was gonna say the slow and steady way and the fun and fast way. Frantic and fast way is, I think, the term I want to use. Oh my god, okay. I was gonna hope that the fucking thing was gonna work, but no, I just gotta go and find the orbital marker that I actually want, which I'm not, so I'm just gonna go to Area 11. So yeah, I have heard And if you're watching this on Sunday, when I upload this, I'll see, because I need to ask him, but Solar mentioned that you could get the Icti Rad, and the Icti Rad would save in your inventory. I don't know if that's the case. I hope it is, but I don't know if that is actually the case. I feel like there would have been more buzz around it if that was the case, but in all fairness, honestly, like, I don't even know when the executive hangar ships became a thing. It was just something that I guess I glossed over, and it seems like it would have been a much larger deal than it was, but so I don't know. But the best way to get the Icti Rad, to get an Atlas Icti, would be to get the Icti Rad if you don't want to do stuff. But even then, you explicitly cannot do it solo. You explicitly cannot do it solo because the doors to get into the Icti garages you need 2 people to open them at the same time, which, I mean, I don't hate, but it's just a little bit funny. And I do say that, there should always be 2 ways to... seriously? Okay. Dude, okay, when I said that the 890 missions weren't... I don't know if I can really say they're not perfect. Apparently the markers just don't work. But that's not an 890 jump mission problem, that's a star map problem. Which sucks, but oh well. Yeah, let's see. So, oh my god. You know what? I was doing a clear sight mission, and it was also broken. Where it didn't have a counter. It seems like it didn't have a counter, where just an infinite amount of enemies were spawning. Which was... I mean, in its own kind of right, it was kind of fun, except, it was really sporadic when they spawned, and, yeah. Oh, okay, so we have to talk about the PTU Second Life drive stuff. I also want to say that on another note of my, my hopes and dreams of getting an 890, being dashed, I tried doing trading with my Starlancer, and I lost money. I lost money, and then, when I was using Galog, a lot of their stuff hasn't been updated since 4.0, and I don't think things have changed too much, but they definitely have changed. I went to using, SC Trade Tools, and their stuff also wasn't, fully up to date. I don't know how dynamic the prices are, but yeah, I think with SC Trader I was making a profit, and I think, in all fairness, it was just my dumbass, where I forgot to store my ship, so I couldn't auto-load onto my ship. I bought a bunch of stuff, and I didn't end up, trading everything, and I could still go and do that. And it was medical supplies. 32 SCU containers of medical supplies. So, yeah, but frankly, and again, I was making money at one point, but, at that point I was like, I don't care about this, it's just this in particular is just not for me. I tried doing some pyro bounties. I'm just I just don't like ship combat. I just don't like it. Really, at the end of the day, I like the idea of being the space mercenary with a fighter craft and, going off and doing space adventures and whatever. But I just don't, like, the combat isn't that fun. And, like, I don't have any constructive criticism. There are some things that I can say that, like, yeah, when the enemies just, like, teleport around, yeah, that's not fun. And I am a little bit concerned for when engineering comes out, because I'm excited at the premise of engineering. Oh, thank God. Okay, I've mentioned that. Sorry, I mentioned that my keyboard fucking sucks, and sometimes the key bindings just decide that, whatever you bound F4 to, it doesn't do anything now. And sometimes it just randomly is like, oh, you know what, Q? Yeah, Q is now F, or something like that. And it's extremely frustrating. I had a moment where I was trying to do a thing. I was trying to do a thing, and I accidentally hit a button. I don't know what button, and I initiated self-destruct on my ship, and I exited the game because I was like, I literally can't figure out what is going on. So that was fun. And also, instead of, like, immediately closing out of the game, it, like, froze up for a second and had the, the beep, the self-destruct beeping. It just kept making it and was like, that's not annoying at all. But also, I don't think that has anything to, I don't think they can change that. It's just my computer being bad. And I do wonder, with some of the performance things, how much of this stuff is just, get a better rig, bro. Which is like, I don't know, I don't know, it's just like, right now, the idea of just get a better just throw more money at your hobby, bro, is not necessarily a super doable thing for me or a lot of people. But that's another thing entirely. Second Life, Supplier Die 2.0. I'm excited for, but I'm going to be let down. My excitement, I'm too excited for it. However it's going to turn out, there's going to be bugs, there's going to be problems. They made an event that is primarily in equal parts, at least. I think this is a combat event that was not supposed to be a combat event, but they decided to put in a direct combat tie-in. Because that's, like, the one thing they can actually do with, like, 100% certainty of it working. Like, I haven't done too much with freight elevators, in, at outposts. The one time I did, 3 of the 4, or 2 of the 3, or whatever, were not working. Like, just refused to work at all. And it's like, yeah, maybe fucking fix that before, maybe fix that before you have an event, that's primarily about cargo running. Just a thought. I mean, it's not that, and it's not as easy as that, I understand, but, like, I mean, I don't know, and I don't know if there's a nicer way to say this, but, like, if the event is going to be broken, and it's fairly evident that it is just going to be broken, then don't run it. Because again, like they do have the combat missions that are a part of it. They also have the oh my god, why is an NPC just running? What the fuck? Dude, what? I mean, I guess you could say he distracted the guy. For some reason didn't die, which is, frankly, more than he deserves. Gotta run into the line of combat, the line of fire, then, I mean, you get what you pay for. Actions have consequences or something. Sorry, yeah. So didn't these guys used to have loot in their backpacks? Anyway, I think that primarily I'm going to be doing... We'll have to see, but I'm probably going to be spamming the small combat missions. Because there's a small and large... There's basically a small and large for cargo hauling. Maybe 3 tiers of cargo hauling. And then a small and large... ship-based wave defense, which actually, honestly, that is new. So actually, that's also probably going to be broken. And there's a small and large space cargo recovery and a large and small ground recovery, and then there's the just there's not necessarily a mission, it's just, hey, turn in these things, turn in this copper, this amount of copper, turn in this amount of copper, corundum, and tungsten. Which is also to say that, I mean, mining is still going to be a thing, but, and hopefully the refineries, like, are just solid now and they're not going to break. But, I mean, that's also, like, I mean, you know, we can also hope that Squadron 42 comes out next week. Or that it comes out January 1st, 2026. You know, but, that doesn't mean it's going to happen. And I don't know. I mean, there's also, like, it's an alpha. At the end of the day, it is an alpha. It's like, you just have to be realistic, and you just have to expect that, yes, things are going to be broken. It happens. It has happened, and it will continue to happen. And, you know, constructive criticism is, of course, beneficial, but, like, also just, like, aimlessly bitching and moaning is not necessarily super helpful. And of course, as somebody who is a professional bitch and moaner, I'm gonna work on that one. That doesn't sound right, but you know what? We're going with it. Yeah, I mean, it's just could be better. Sorry, so that's not even talking about any of the rewards and stuff. For one thing, the story, it seems like I'm on a wait and see for how well they tell a story. And I do think that there are possibly some elements of the story that, like, or at least character progression that we haven't seen. Or that I haven't seen talked about. Like, I think maybe all of the NPCs have, or each of the factions has unique dialogue, or a unique sort of mission contractor that is, that is gonna tell you stuff and communicate with you and be your best friend. Probably not, but that kind of thing. But it doesn't seem like, I don't know, like, this isn't going to directly involve the story. And also, like, you look at the loading screen, like, there was the whole little thing at Invictus where, oh, the Frontier Fighters have stole a Polaris, and now, like, that entire story is just being told on the loading screen. That, like, I'm not 100% sure if there was any mention of a thing, right? But, like, yeah, the Frontier Fighters are, they're an extremist group that I feel bad for, because CAG just, like, has not made me care about them. The only reason I care about the Frontier Fighters is to point out just, like, the flaws with their storytelling things. And I mean, it's like their first attempt, right? Like, at properly doing all of this with a proper pipeline and everything. And part of that, I'm sure, is, you know, like, okay, we can make this giant epic sweeping story, but, like, we gotta have content out in a week, you know, or, you know, next month or whatever. So it's like, you have to set expectations, right? And I'm not 100% sure if the conversation was that, I think it might have been that basically the mission team went to narrative, which, I mean, like, I'm not an expert, but does kind of seem like probably not what you want to do. You probably want... You probably want to have a mission. Or you probably want to have a story and narrative that gets told, and, like, missions that associate with that. Even if it's just something like, oh, there's a new pirate faction that's showed up, and you just have to go and do these missions. And as a part of that mission, at the end of each, you know, at the end of a mission chain, you maybe get some little tidbits here and there. And I mean, like, before, I mean, when they first did the Fight for Pyro thing, they couldn't have done something like, you know, I mean, we don't have a lot of tech. Like, okay, they could have had, like, notepads that had coordinates to the Frontier Fighter base or something, and you had to go blow up the Frontier Fighter base. But you could only do it if you found the notepads. There's several reasons why we couldn't do that. Why they couldn't have done that right, like, when Fight for Pyro happened. But yeah, sorry, I gotta be honest, I wanted to just talk about the rewards, and now I'm just, like, going off on a complete tangent about all the other parts of it. The rewards, I'm a little bit dubious. I'm a little bit dubious of, like, the spacing of the rewards, but I do think that I kind of like... I am a fan of the way they've done this. I honestly, I wouldn't mind if there was less rewards, because it just feels like I'm going to be missing out on a lot of things when I don't really want to be missing out on a lot of things. Also, oh my god, this is... I don't know. These are Sentinels. I think they're Sentinels. They could not be Sentinels, but they just have... Whatever these are, they have a heavy distortion build, and distortion can fuck you up if you're not careful. They're not super, super great, but they're not terrible. And having two of them is fucking terrifying. I mean, you can see how they just ate through my shields. I almost kind of want to run a full distortion build on, like, my Reliant. But, also that seems like a terrible idea. Okay, hopefully we should have an easier time here. So... I actually just saw a thing about the Volt Pistol. It's a machine pistol, and, I think I saw an animation where it had a slide, where, like, the upper receiver was actually, like, a slide, and I don't know, that doesn't seem right, even remotely. Like, it's... I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I would probably have an argument of if you're going to be in a sci-fi world, have fun with weapon design. Now, I mean, there's multiple schools of thought. If you want to go super realistic, you can. If you want to go super unrealistic, you can also do that. But if you like, energy weapons don't have to behave at all like like modern day firearms. They can behave as much or as little as you want. And you can have a lot of different artistic cues with them. Like, a long barrel typically means a sniper or more damage or, whatever. You could have energy weapons that have their own aesthetic to them, and maybe, like, for all I know, you could have a thing where shorter barrels are actually more powerful or whatever. And there's having a whole thing about that, and maybe there's just, entire things that's just like energy weapons behave completely differently. Now, I mean, that's just not the direction that Star Citizen has ever seemed to want to take, which is fine. But, there are things you can do that, and I don't think the Volt Pistol actually has a slide. I think it was just maybe some janky animation, because it seems like the entire thing is a little jank right now in PTU. It looks like it's a really solid machine pistol, and I'm kind of curious, because one of the things, also, I don't know. Well, that's another thing. The Volt Pistol seems interesting. I only very recently have really wanted to, have ever felt the need to use the medical gun. I appreciate the difference, or I appreciate them making it the pistol slot thing, because, like, it makes my choice to carry a sidearm with me seem like more. I mean, it's not. I mean, like, how meaningful of a change is it? I mean, like, it's important to me that that is just the way I want to do things. Oh, freezing up like this? Oh my god. Oh my god! Oh my god, what is that? What is that? Seriously! What the fuck is that? I don't get angry too much. But when I do, I think it's extremely justified. Oh my god. And that, oh my god. They have a long way to go with the... interaction menu and how smooth or not smooth it is, and fucking what is that? The fuck is that? Come on! So fucking many times. The hitboxes have fucked me over. Oh my god. And I mean, like, what am I doing? Am I doing something wrong here? Like, I've been backed into a corner. The NPCs know exactly where the fuck I am. Like, but I don't know, dude. It will never cease to be, like, there is just some frustration there where, like, I will be at times where the game is running probably not 60 FPS, but like 40 FPS, 40 plus FPS, and then sometimes it just fucking goes from that directly to stuttering like no one's business, and it's like, that ain't cool? What the fuck? And like, yeah, like, anyway, completely lost my train of thought. It's happening again. Yeah, so overall with the Second Life Drive stuff, I'm super excited for it, but also I'm dubious of how stable it's actually going to be, and I honestly really would love to try and do all 4 factions, because it seems like you can, and also it looks like nothing's happening, which is amazing. With repooling him, oh no, are we gonna just get server issues? I think we're just gonna get server issues. By the way, like, they did a server refresh on Thursday or whenever it was. They did a recent, as of recording, they did a recent server maintenance window, and it seems like stuff didn't help. Now, I mean, I can't say, I don't know exactly what they did. I'm kind of curious if they were like, because I'm sure there's a bunch of things they can do, and I don't know if there's some things that involve cost benefit analysis of just like, we can do this thing that takes X time, that does, takes less time but isn't going to be as stable. We can do this thing that's going to take more time but is more stable, and stuff like that. And they're just testing around with stuff. I really wish they did regular server maintenance. Like, I don't know, dude. Yeah. Oh, but yeah, so genuinely, the only things I care about with Second Life... The problem with the Second Life thing, like, narratively, is that you're given 4 options of... you are given 4 options of companies to support, and none of them are really good. I mean, Microtech looks so much better than Hurston or R-Corp. And, I mean, at least R-Corp's better than Hurston, right? And, but, like, Crusader is obviously better than all these other people. I mean, they're nice. Look, come visit Orison. But, I mean, there's a lot more complexity to all of them. I mean, such as the fact that, like, in the lore, Crusader has just, like, allowed the Ninetales to, basically just allowed the Ninetales to exist, for some reason. And, that's not cool. And, there's a whole thing of, like, Crusader, they don't do military ships, but now they do make military ships. And there's a change of ethos in the company, and, like, before you know it, Crusader is going to be making, nuclear devices, weapons of mass destruction, I'm sure. But actually, yeah, like, the only reason I care about anything is for the rewards, and that's not, like, yes, that's kind of an important element of an event, but also it would be nice if I'm invested in the character of these factions, the people, and all that stuff. But that just hasn't happened yet. And I don't know, like, I don't know. I'm going with R-Corp just because I'm so used to R-Corp and everything. I'm probably gonna prioritize R-Corp, Hurston, Microtech, Crusader, If I do end up just doing the space combat missions, then it doesn't really make that much of a difference, but yeah. I will say that also, what else is there? 421, the asteroid bases in Stanton got elevators, or got hangar doors, which would imply that they're gearing up to have asteroid bases in Stanton, which again, after going through the asteroid bases in Pyro, yeah, I'm excited for. I mean, they're not perfect, but I think one of the problems with my only problem with the Pyro things is that everything's dark, everything's grungy. Grunge isn't an issue, but like, it just seems like it's a little bit more of a pain in the ass to navigate. Sometimes with performance issues, just because there's more objects on screen and everything. So the idea of just a cleaner, less polluted station then might run a little bit better and might be a bit more playable. If we had FPS radar and scanning, then that wouldn't be a problem even remotely. It might be a problem, but you know, like, if you just cannot see anything, then if you can't see the wall in front of you, then it doesn't matter if you know exactly where all the enemies are. At the end of the day. So yeah, not too much else to say. I'm sure I mentioned I wanted to try and keep these under an hour, and I'm barely there. I stream Star Citizen on Sundays and other games on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you want to go over to twitch.tv/Rylu with an underscore at the end. Link in description. Yeah, and I guess until next time, have a good day, great day even. Chowskis.